games use StreamEast, the beautiful, sweet prince of the internet.
StreamEast is my Jesus.
Watch the LA Lakers take on the Milwaukee Bucks tomorrow night on your computer, tablet, phone, I dare you.
Please don't pay $6 for that one. Come on, man. Save your money, America.
You know how much League Pass costs?
League Pass, and you don't even get all the games.
You don't even get the games in your own city.
So you got to buy cable for your own teams, and then you got to buy League Pass to get the League Pass stuff.
There's no doubt that, I'll just say politely, that we need to reimagine these relationships.
The NBA has a problem.
Get the ball, do work, clear it out.
No, not that.
It's really just become a three-point shooting contest.
No, not that either. In the year of our Lord, Anno Domini 2025, we as fans of the National Basketball Association are unable to watch our favorite teams as we please. We need to have this service, that bundle, whatever, bro. And it's still not enough. We've heard chatters about the three-pointers, the refs, the
$200 instantly.
whatever theory people use to disparage today's game, being the reason the ratings are down. But all of them overlook one key point. You can't watch them, man. The NBA has tried for a decade to push out the ultimate solution to this quandary, where you can watch your favorite players all the time. I tried the 1-week free trial and, well,
how are you telling me I can only watch half the games? I want to watch Clippers and Thunder, right? I can't because I live in Kansas City. It's a 6-hour drive away.
the NFL at least is a piece of cake, right? I want to watch a Chiefs game on a Sunday afternoon. I just tune up the old antenna, turn on Fox or CBS, and boom, I'm good to go. For the NBA, I mean, I'm not gonna directly incriminate myself, but let's just say that me and Bron have something in common, right? I'm a huge fan of One Piece, and I look to the movie Piracy for inspiration. The reasons I was a SC supporter was because I was a broke high school student and a broke college student. Like, the reason now is, well, because it's easier. Speaking of quality and cost effectiveness, let's take a second to shout out today's sponsor, Raycon. So I've been using AirPods for the past few years, but sadly they're coming to an end. So since I'm like LeBron, I started looking for the more affordable option. And that for me has been Raycon's new and improved everyday earbuds. This latest model is better than ever with active noise cancellation, which work just as good as my old AirPods. And not only that, bro, the bass on this is actually gas, no lie. Also, these fit super well. The other day I cosplayed as a LaMelo Ball highlight tape, and I had 6'7" playing, and boy, it was hitting. In fact, I was nearly hooping better. The earbuds also have a 32-hour battery life, and after just 10 minutes of charging last you an hour and a half. And guess what? These are literally half the price of AirPods. Plus it came with this cool little protective case right here. I really like it. It looks like marble, man. It's cool, it's cool. If they work for me, they'll probably work for LeBron. And that means they would work for you. You'll be supporting my channel with a link, and hey man, I'm telling you, these are some good products. Go to buyraycon.com/KipCom11 to get 20% off the best-selling everyday earbuds. Brought to you by Raycon. The NBA League Pass was supposed to be an end-all be-all fix for all of this madness, to finally allow fans to watch whenever and however they pleased. However, after being a buggy mess for a majority of its lifespan, to their credit, something that's basically all the way fixed now, at least on PS5. I live in Kansas City and I can't watch Shea play. If you live in Brooklyn, you can't watch the Nets or the Knicks if you have League Pass. If you're in Vegas, you can't watch the Lakers, the Kings, or the Clippers. If you're in Louisville, Kentucky, you can't watch the Cavaliers, the Pacers, and the damn Memphis Grizzlies. Why? Like, what gives? Seriously, like, huh? What do you mean there's a blackout? The lights are on in my home, and I hope they are in yours too, Adam. Like, what's going on? So I did some research into it and promptly found one of the most ugly, snore-inducing, obsolete services of today's sports world. The RSN. The RSN, or Regional Sports Network, is essentially how local broadcasters make money from their home sports teams. If you live in the Bay, then you belong to NBC Sports Bay Area. In Houston, Space City Home Network, and the list goes on with a bunch of names that try too hard to sound homey. These guys are in charge of production for any non-national game, from the broadcasters to the halftime show to the announcers. And if you're not blacked out, the one that you see on League Pass. It's why, of course, some games can be really great to watch, and others just devolve into crying about fouls half the time.
Give me a break! What a terrible call!
Now, unlike the NFL, where all the games are nationally broadcasted in some way, and thus all TV revenues are split equally amongst the 32 teams, the NBA has these RSNs, completely separate companies that bring in their own amounts of revenue, of which they share with their respective teams. The very first regional sports network came out of New York City, where the newly opened Madison Square Garden had reached an agreement with Manhattan Cable Television to show every Knicks home game from the 1969-70 season. 7 years later, Charles Dolan, James Dolan's dad, and the founder of the mighty Cablevision, founded the channel Cablevision Sports 3, later renamed Sports Channel New York, that carried the Yankees, the Mets, the hockey team Islanders, and the Brooklyn, at the time New York, Nets, all on one channel. This and Philadelphia's Prism were considered to be the first modern regional sports networks, where you could watch all things your hometown sports. This, of course, obviously was all for a price. Previously, you were free to watch professional sports on your free broadcast channels. But naturally, of course, there was money to be made. Sports cable companies across the nation popped up, grew, and merged into 32 networks: Fox, AT&T, Spectrum, and NBC Sports. It was ridiculously lucrative at the time. And by 2011, a media strategist claimed, a prospective buyer looks at the team as if you're buying a regional sports network that happens to have a team. The LA Lakers that same year signed a 20-year, $3 billion contract with Time Warner, netting $150 million a year, more than some teams total back in 2011. Cable was king, and as king, they made sure to hoard their prized possessions, and their weapon of choice was the blackout. The blackout was initially utilized by the NFL in order to protect live games from being poached from television. Meaning, the NFL didn't want their fans to watch the game at home on TV when they could just go to the stadium and watch the game live. This didn't matter if the team was playing home or away, it was any game period. Then in 1953, a federal court held that while the NFL could keep fans from watching their own team while they were in town, away games were just stupid, because, there's no game to attend. But in 1961, the NFL had a problem. They wanted to take each individual team's broadcasting rights and put them all in one package in order to sell to CBS. However, the government wasn't having it. Per their previous agreement, this would mean that the NFL would be acting as a monopoly, which is explicitly illegal in the United States under antitrust laws. So the NFL called in a favor, and the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 was created. So the NFL petitioned to Congress. They said something like, hey, throw a dog a bone here, or whatever they said in the 1960s, and the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 was created, where it exempted the leagues of the four American sports from antitrust laws, giving them free reign to package and sell TV deals to whoever and however they wished. But most importantly, in this act, Congress explicitly allowed the pro sports leagues to black out television broadcasts of home games within the home territory of a member team, since of course, they had to protect ticket sales. The thing is though, even if a game was sold out, the NFL would still black out the game to the viewers. Sucks, right? A bunch of fans thought so as well. And in 1973, after fan complaints, Congress prohibited sports leagues from blacking out home games if the game sold out 72 hours beforehand. Kind of a random time, but hey, we ball, they probably said. Once cable got involved, the FCC was worried that if cable stations started broadcasting home games based off of other stations' broadcasts, then teams would just shut down the broadcast to other teams altogether, meaning no sports for the home people or the away people. Do you guys understand? I barely get it myself, man. But anyway, the zoning protection was decided on by the FCC to be about 35 miles, which, hold on, that doesn't make much sense. Kansas is more than 35 miles away from me, let alone Oklahoma. So why is OKC blacked out? Well, that's the thing. Even though the FCC said 35 miles, it never said sports leagues had to follow that criteria. They're just trusting that teams negotiate in good faith with the broadcast partners. So essentially, yeah, the radius of a blackout is entirely up to the team and their network providers, which of course leads to Hawaii being blacked out from games in Los Angeles. Capitalism, even if we ignore that component, which in of itself is crazy, blackouts as a concept simply aren't fair. First off, a game is exponentially more expensive than what it was back then. I went to the home opener last season for the Kansas City Chiefs and it ran me over $200 for some of the highest seats in the house. If I wanted to go to the Super Bowl in the 1970s, it would have cost me half that, and that's adjusting for inflation. And even if tickets were as cheap now as they were back then, it's not insane to say that just because your home team is playing on TV, if you're not gonna see a game, you're not gonna go. If you're gonna see a game, you'll go, unless, the prices are too high. Anyway, basically blackouts are outdated. Like Jim Crow outdated, bro. So why are they still in effect? To answer that, I spoke with media policy expert John Bergmeyer, who's testified to the US Congress regarding this exact same issue.
I think in part it's because they make more money they have rights, like they have the rights to air the game, and instead of just sort of doing it themselves or bidding it off to the highest bidder, they find they can make more money, at least for now, to like chop it up into as many little different pieces as they can and then get different people to carry different pieces, and they think that's how they make more money. I have no doubt that they've run the numbers and in the short term they do make more money. The question is is that at the expense of fans? Is that at the expense of the long-term future?
RSNs pay a pretty penny for their team's broadcasting rights. One of the points of leverage that these guys have have is the exclusivity to the broadcast. They don't share them with anyone else. If League Pass was able to get a hold of it, don't you think it would cut into their revenue? Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably would, but bottom line is it's anti-fan. And it's kind of silly, to be honest. Regardless, it's the reality of the situation. And another one being, these things are dying, man. Do you still pay for cable? Lord knows I don't. And my family never has, save for the 2 months that we had it when I was a kid, before my dad said I was getting hypnotized by the cartoons. Back then it was a luxury, right? I mean, you had Prime ESPN, SpongeBob, Avatar, and I guess some news or whatever. What else could you ask for? Cable was this access into what's what of the modern world, before the internet and content creation started sucking it dry. Hey? Now, cable television has seen over a 30% drop in subscriptions since its peak in 2011, and it keeps going down. All the while, TV deal values keep going up, mainly due to investments of national broadcasters. Local broadcasters, on the other hand, have been struggling a lot. Their main business model comes from being a part of a bundle. When you pay for a new cable subscription, whether you watch sports or not, RSNs have already been built into the package, almost like a tax or an administrative fee, charging up to $8 a month for something that a lot of people never use. Not only that, but since the leagues have been asking for more money, the RSNs put in the increased price on the back end for the uninvolved consumer to pay. It's a shady tactic that the FCC has pushed back on in the past year or so. Even with all of that though, it's looking really rough. Fox was bought by Disney in 2019. That mouse owned everything, huh? And because Disney already had ESPN, the US Department of Justice ordered that Disney sell Fox Sports in order to uphold antitrust laws. It was then bought by One Diamond Sports Group, who then renamed the RSNs Bally Sports Arizona or Bally Sports SoCal and so on and so forth, right? This company decided to do so, being $8 billion in debt, banking on the hope that RSNs would be able to maintain their viewing power and that they could use it to integrate betting as another revenue source. Instead, 2 years ago, it went bankrupt, and multiple teams cut loose from the network to do their own thing, like the Utah Jazz making their own app, and Phoenix just putting their games on Antenna TV for literally half the money. After the group went bankrupt, they rebranded, getting a new sponsor, FanDuel, and emerging from the bankruptcy as Main Street Sports Group. This stuff is finished, bro. The TV experts were saying that Diamond Sports was going to save the RSN or something like that, just for it to go bust. And I mean, for good reason. If you want to tune into Knicks games in New York, you have to buy James Dolan's MSG Plus or Network or something like that. That costs $310 a season. If you're also a Yankees fan or a Nets fan, I guess, you're gonna have to buy Yes Network, which costs $240 a year, right? And guess what? If the game is nationally televised, you won't be able to watch it. So then you gotta go buy YouTube TV for like minimum $90 a month, which comes out to over $1,000 a year. So if you live in New York and you want access to every sports game in New York by itself, you're gonna be paying $1,500 a year. Or you could use StreamEast.
It's just like a response to the fact that, you know, it's a market failure. People still pirate music online, but ever since music became available legally, all you can eat on things like Spotify and Apple Music, the demand for pirated music went way down. Piracy is usually a response to a failure of the content provider to sort of make their stuff accessible to the people who want to watch it.
In this one-click world that we live in, RSN makes it so we have multiple clicks. The NFL's of course figured this out years ago with the Sunday Ticket, which used to be $100 a season to add on to cable. They now jacked up the price to $400 on YouTube TV, but hey, people still buy it. And they also have NFL Red Zone, which is like $10 a month. Any game that's blacked out is easily watchable on local broadcast. The MLB, who are even more in the weeds with this whole RSN thing. I mean, it literally makes up over 80% of their viewers, and half the RSNs are, like I said, they broke. Have been trying to separate themselves, but so far to no avail. They created a whole new department called MLB Local Media and hired their own broadcast team to take over broadcasts where the RSNs went bust. This has happened for the San Diego Padres, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the list goes on. The MLB is looking for change, and so is Adam Silver. In the blockbuster media rights deal that was agreed upon last year, local media rights suffered heavily. 1, there's no express written protection for local providers, and 2, they're losing 6 games more to national television. It's pretty obvious that the league's trying to, James Dolan, a frequent critic of Adam Silver, and the man whose fortunes are literally built on the RSN, wrote a letter to the 29 other NBA governors complaining about the direction the league is taking on the new deal. He claims the new deal risks rendering the entire RSN model unviable and threatens to completely eliminate regional sports networks. Which, I mean, yeah, why wouldn't he? There's no reason to keep it around.
18 of our RSNs were either defunct or in bankruptcy. You have sort of a broken RSN model.
All we want as fans is to pay a reasonable price and watch our games freely. All of them. And thanks to some stupid restrictions, we're not able to. Listen, League Pass is actually a great product. $15 a month, and you get all these neat features. If you live in like Mexico, I'm guessing it's like the ultimate experience. But respectfully, Thunder and Lakers fans aren't in Mexico and France like they are in Los Angeles and OKC. That's just how it is. It's bad business the NBA is operating in, and it's hurting the ratings. After all, I mean, how can you say the ratings are down when you aren't giving people a way to watch? It's a convoluted system with a complicated past. And Adam, please, just fix it. Thanks for watching.